Hey guys, October the 30th here in Central Illinois, and tomorrow is Halloween, so be prepared. But this is a little bit of pleasure and work all at the same time. I'll show you what I'm doing on the beer car reefer. But the one video I did a while back, a couple of days ago, maybe a week ago, it was called the cheap template lifestyle. I believe is what I called it. Anyhow, we had a lot of just plain Lionel four-wheel cars like I've got right here. And one of the viewers out there said, yeah, the Lionel stuff reminded him of the European cars, which is very true. So I thought, well, what the heck? I've got a small collection of European, basically Markland and Bing 1 gauge. And so I went ahead and I got all the four-wheel cars that I had except two. They've got a solid wheelbase on them, and they don't handle this 5-rail track. Now, I run 1 gauge on 5-rail track. It just happens to be almost right. The collector plate sits off to one side, so once in a while, if the rail, well, you'll notice it. You might notice it over there on the side. I think the rails are a little bit tight, so the collector plate will spark. It touches the other side. But I thought what I'd do is I'd show you the set of four-wheel cars we got here. Got a nice little collection of them. I always found the European stuff to be rather cool. And I think what's interesting is, though, they weren't trying to be cheap like Lionel was with their four-wheel cars, because this is the European Railway that you see over there. It's not that they don't have larger cars with double trucks, but the vast majority of their stuff is exactly like this. So I thought I'd put these together. We'd run them. And then I'd show you the other over here is Bing, and an American outline, and they're also four-wheel trucks. And here again, that's just so they could cheapen it up. I've got one Hocking Valley there that's got a double set of trucks on it. Everything else is four-wheel. They operate well. I think what I find with the Lionel and stuff is when you go and you stop it real quick, they do have a tendency to kind of turn sideways, so you could derail it a little bit. But it doesn't happen very often. And then we'll go downstairs and I'll show you what I'm doing with the beer car. But let's run these first, because they are rather cool. I like the look of them. We'll start with the 1 gauge first. And then we'll do the Bing 0 gauge on the outside track. And if I wasn't lazy, I'd fix the headlight on this 0 gauge Bing. You'll notice right here when it comes into the curve, there you go, the sparking of the collector plate. It's touching one of the outside rails. It's close in there. I didn't do such a great job maybe staking it down when I was building the 5-rail. In fact, I got carried away. But these are nice running little outfits, and the four-wheel cars are cute, no doubt about it. let's call it a halt to that before we have an accident. So let's go downstairs. Let me unplug my transformer. Don't want to burn my house down. Let's go downstairs and I'll show you what I'm doing down there. I do a lot of work down there in a southern room because of the light. Because my eyesight ain't as good as what it used to be. And the brighter the light for me, the better. So let's see if we can go down the stairs without taking a fall. I'll show you what I've done. Okay. This used to be our dining room. It's still a dining room and I keep it picked up, but every once in a while I got to get things out. Like I say, the light in here is better. But this is the beer car that I'm working on. You guys have seen it. And I'm just about done. I'm ready to do some rubber stamping. Now what I have done here is I've created a platform that I can slide that car onto and everything fits flat. Now if you're wondering why is this narrower, it's because the guides on the door on this side, there's only 2 inches basically from here to about here. The guide is the rest way. There is basically no guide on this side. So the 3-inch board fits perfectly over here. And I had to custom fit this. So what I'll do is, see if I can get this without dropping it. All right. This is how it sits on there. This gives me a firm surface. This is sitting on this. And then that will allow me, I'll sit right here in front of it and I will apply the rubber stamp. Normally what I would do is I would use that towel and I would put the car on that, but that doesn't give you a firm base to work on. It lets it roll one way or the other, or it can. And of course it's soft, so you push down and it sinks into the towel. This way this has got a backer. And I can press as hard as I want, and I don't have to worry about busting any solder joints. That's what I worry about. Because when I press down on this, it gives way. It ain't going to give way with this. Now, I don't want to press it too hard or I'll turn the damn table up on top of me. But that's what I made this for. And then, when I want to do the ends, the car slides right over this, and then I have a flat surface to do the ends. So it's dual purpose. Now, I built this specifically for this Ives 192. I don't know if it would work with other cars or not. I don't know why it wouldn't. But then the other thing that I did, I'm wanting to build a Cam's Ale. Now, I don't know if you can see this or not. I hope you can. This Cam's Ale, get this out here. This Cam's Ale fits perfectly as far as side to side goes. There's just a little bit of space, but it's too long. It hangs over down here. Now, what I like to do, I don't like to trim these any more than I have to, but I want these things to fit virtually from one side to the other. Because you know what? You always find that individual looks at it and says, oh, pretty nice job, except you got a gap over here and it's touching here. You want to kill that individual is what you want to do. So I try to avoid that by getting stuff that will fit exactly. But I leave, in this case, I leave a small line under here. I use this as my guide, push it up, and you got to be careful with that because these are rolled. It's not like it's a 90-degree angle here on the side. So you do have to be careful when you push this up here to make sure that you don't have it turned up a little bit. But these are basically the same on both sides. Leave the gap. And since the cams is too tall, I have taken and carefully cut it down. As you'll notice, I cut the green off of it, but I stopped at the line on both ends. Well, this allows an absolutely, and nothing's absolutely, but this allows a fit. And as you can see, there's just a little bit of black here. And what I did to do it with was I bought me a guillotine paper cutter, which we all know what these are. We've had these in school. And with the bars, with the chart on there, you can get it lined up absolutely perfect. In fact, you can see the stuff that I trimmed off. This one here, this was going to be a sacrificial lamb. It came out just right, so I'm going to keep it. So I don't know that it's worth $65 to cut 4 or 5 labels, but you got to have the tools at hand, and I like doing this, and I plan on building another car. So hopefully today I've got one more coat of decoupage covering a compound to paint across this. This makes, I can't feel the edge of the paper. I paint all the way down to the edge of the car, and like I say, it dries clear. Anything that's here on the bottom, I take a wet cloth and wipe it all off. But what I don't want to do is have any piece of paper to where you could catch it accidentally and pull it up. So this is almost a solid piece across here. So that's where we're at. That's where we're at on the car. I will probably have this done in the next 2 or 3 days. I'm looking forward to it. Here again, I did away with the split rivets. I took those all out and I put 3/16 half-inch clevis pins in there. They fit absolutely perfect for both couplers and trucks. And then I can do a number of ways. I can put a washers and a cotter pin in it. I've basically been using axle collets with a set screw. They slide right down on there. You can set how much, how tight or how loose you want it. Set it with that set screw and it don't go nowhere. So that's what we're up to. All right, that's pretty much it for the day. But I thought I'd show you the house just a little bit. Believe it or not, I brought this whole house home, the main part that we're in. I brought this whole house here to Central Illinois in a Ryder truck in 1977. It was what they call an architectural package. Virtually everything you're looking at, the floors, the windows, the doors, the trim, everything came out of Boughton, Massachusetts. I think I told you guys I spent 4 years in the Navy in Newport, Rhode Island, and I was greatly influenced by the history out there. So I wanted a bit of New England here in Central Illinois, and that's what I got. So at one time, my train layout ran right here on the floor. That's the only place I had to put it. All right, guys, have a good Halloween, and hopefully the next time we do something here, I'll have this car up and running along with the Tube City beer car that I finished, and I'm looking to do another one. I bought another 192, but it's too nice to tear up. I don't have a 192. You know, most of that stuff has got all the paint peeled off of it, but I almost consider it to be a sin to take and strip it. So we'll talk with you later. You have a good one. Be safe out there, and for God's sakes, don't eat too much of that Halloween candy. Toodaloo.